So here's the setup for today. I got the XC3 with the grip on it. Got that extension grip to give me a little bit more. I'm trying to go stealthy and small today. So I said, let me bring the XC3 with the grip on it to give me a little bit more, hold on it. And then I'm going to use the 3 Fujifilm lenses. I got the 35, which is on the XC3. I'm going to start off with that. I got the 23. So when I want to go environmental-ish portrait, might not even use it that much. But the sleeper for today, it's going to be that 50 mil. This is going to be my primary used lens, most likely. I took it out last week and did great. So love that lens. Very underrated. I think most people, if they're using Fuji, they're probably thinking 56 1.2 or some third-party Viltroxes, which I actually did have, which I no longer have. I've actually traded everything in and stuck with the F2 Fujifilms. I think they are fantastic, underrated, and all I really need. So I'm trying to go minimalist today. Shooting the portrait session outside with a model, downtown Jersey City. So we're gonna get some urban, city shots, and stay tuned. I'm gonna share those. So, hey, so I forgot to mention this bag that I'm using. This is pretty much been my go-to bag for a while. Whenever I just want to carry a light kit, when I'm carrying one camera and a few lenses, a battery, a power bank, and a cable for my phone, and that's it. Small setup. This is a Bag Smart bag. Got it from Amazon. I think it's like $30, something like that. It's cheap. It's not the best quality. That's the truth. It's a cheap bag. You get what you pay for. It's $30. It's kind of like the Peak Design 3 or 6. I'm not even sure what size this is. I'm assuming this is more like a 3 or 4, maybe. Not sure. But it's held up for a while. What I did do, there used to be like this kind of strap, shoulder thing. But that's I cut that off. It really was bothering me because it would slide up and down. And this strap isn't the most, isn't the softest. So it can be scratchy if you don't have a jacket on or something like that. Like if you're, warm weather's t-shirt, this can scratch you up. So other than that, it's been holding up well, but I probably will be going to the Peak Design version because I do like a sling because it allows you to, pull it over to your front, access your stuff, swing it to the back and move on. I like that about a bag, so it can kind of be unobtrusive, but still useful. So yeah, this is what I'm using today. What's going on, everyone? This is Jason, and I am back in the basement to talk about the Fuji F2 lenses, the 23, 35, and the 50. I got them all right here in front of me, aka just the Fujifilms, as some people like to dub them, based on, I don't know, some criteria based on Leica lenses. I know nothing about that, but that's what I've heard. But I'm going to refer to them as the F2 Trinity. And I'll have an honorable mention for that F2 Trinity. We'll make it a quadruplet, right? So anyway, here's my recap. So for the last month or so, I've been using these f2 lenses for various things, for portraits, for some street photography, just out and about having fun, really testing it out. Now, why I did that was because previously I've only had the Viltrox f4 primes, and I still have the Viltrox 85 prime lens, which I love. I think it's great. That's why I kept that one. But the other four, the 13, the 23, 33, and 56, great lenses. But what I've been finding is that I wasn't using them in the capabilities that I really wanted to. So what I've been doing in this last phase of my journey in photography is really trying to consolidate my professional and enthusiast slash personal work. I don't want to have too many separate systems. I already have narrowed down to just Fuji at this point from having some Canons in the past. But what I also don't want is to have cameras that are just sitting around dedicated to being just either a personal camera or professional. I really want to be able to have that sweet spot of suite of cameras that can do both easily well. So in order to do that, I also really looked at my lens lineup and realized that the lenses were also holding me back because of the size. Now, granted, these lenses are not big by any means, right, compared to full frame. But from my personal viewpoint, I wanted something I can carry in a small bag and kind of get everything I need from a personal and professional standpoint and still be able to cross over easily without having, because you want usage. I don't want stuff sitting around collecting dust. So I decided to try the f2 Fujis because I heard great things about them. But you don't hear a lot of people using them professionally, or at least that's not what comes to mind at first. Most people are using them for street photography, which tends to be more personal, enthusiast kind of mindset, although you can do professional work that way too. And there's definitely a carryover, which is why I chose to get the f2s. But I don't think people look at them as, hey, I'm going to do a wedding and use the 23 and the 50, right? They don't say, hey, I'm going to rock these two on two different cameras, which is how I would work. And I did that with the Viltrox lenses. I had the 23 on one camera, the 56 on the other, and I had the 13 and the 33 in the bag for a different, maybe smaller room setup to be my double, lens setup. And then I had the 85 when I wanted to dedicate for portrait work and stuff like that. Then I started realizing that's not the way, so tried these f2s and I really used them in the same capacity. So the first one that I did get was the 35. So I got the 35. This is your 50 mil equivalent. And I used that for street photography out and about in New York City once, and then, some other places. And this one really kind of opened the door and, became the one that wanted me to try all the rest. So, but actually, the lens that did it, hold that thought, really put it over the top is when I paired that 35 with the 18. When I paired the 35 with the 18, that really showed me that, what? That's exactly what my Viltrox 13 and 33 were for me. The shorter end of that double lens kit where I could have a small bag with just those two, and probably in short spaces, in small spaces, 18. And when I'm out and I have room to work, I'm going to use a 35. And the 35 can also double as a, closed in portrait lens. So if I wanted to do some portraits, I can get close to my subject, compress them and shoot at f2 and get the wide openness. So I loved it. And then that opened the door to get the 23 and the 50, which would be more of my event coverage. So I can have that 35 and 75, short telephoto range. And I'd be fine with that. And then I'd still have my Viltrox 85 to do my, long telephoto and portrait work. So I was covered in everything I was going to really use it for. And the results were great. I have no issue with it. I think what I ended up doing was selling all the Viltrox lenses off. I said, you know what? I don't want redundancy. I'm not going to have doubles of every lens I have for the most part. So I got rid of them, sold them off, and moved on from there. Great decision for me, and I even did a portrait session with the XE3. Yeah. If you're probably seeing this backwards, I'm using my phone, guys, so I got it on a selfie. So everything's backwards if you see the logo. But yeah, I used the XE3. I, put the grip on it so I could have a little extra sum as I'm out and about. Small camera, but, still needed a little bit more, not a lot, to give me that grip I needed. And it performed great. I was happy with the results. I'm going to share them, so don't worry. You'll see them at the end of this video. And was perfectly happy. Now, the sleeper lens, I think people probably don't talk enough about, because we hear controversy of the 18. Everybody says it's bad. It's a good lens. It's a very good lens at that. I like it. It's not a video lens. It's noisy as hell, but I like it. 18 gives you that 28, kind of could be on your camera, leave it there. If you shoot with your phone for photography, you're going to get the same field of view, basically, except you're using better quality camera and a little better sharpness and some, separation of your subject if you get close. People talk about the 23. That's your standard 35. It's fast. It's quiet. We know that about all of the Fujicrons. I shouldn't even say Fujicron, but you know that about all the F2 Fujis. 35 is included in that. Great medium range, all purpose 35. But what people don't discuss enough is the 50. The 50, man. This is a great lens. Use this for portraits. It's lightweight. You can put it in your bag with the 23 or the 18, and it's not going to take up any room. And it's fast. It's quiet. Can be good for video too. But it's in the shadow of all these other 1.2, 1.4 lenses. When, for me personally, I don't need anything more than f2. It's fast enough for events. It can do well in that environment because I use a flash anyway. Once I get to the too dark environment, I'm using the flash to go into f4 anyway. If I'm outdoor doing portraits, I can shoot at f2 and still get great compression for portraits. Please use this. I'm going to end it there and just say, use the 50. It's great. Thank you.